Thank you. Once again, on behalf of my institute, Park Institute for Peace Studies, I welcome you all. This is a two-day regional conference on connectivity and geo-economics in South Asia. We are honored to have amongst ourselves a representative from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Li Jianzhao from the Chinese Embassy, very excellent speakers and participants. So the purpose of this conference is basically to explore the idea of regional connectivity, the much talked about regional connectivity in today's context, especially in South Asia.
At least the Belt and Road Initiative has triggered some optimism, and we have seen that this is consuming a lot of intellectual energies, not only the South Asian capitals, but as well in East European and Central Asian, and even in the Middle East region, that how we can connect, develop our connected world, and especially that how we can connect ourselves with the Belt and Road Initiative. We also know maybe the many strategic communities in different capitals may not be agree with the idea of the BRI, or is one component the CPAC, but at least it's also have triggered the debate, and they are looking for alternative ideas.
The world has become a global village. The traditional trend of geopolitics based on power projection is being replaced with geo-economics. Regional integration is fast becoming the pillar of economic policies followed by the countries all over the world. Connectivity is at the heart of regional integration and the cooperation. China and Pakistan are taking the lead to fulfill the stream of regional integration, connectivity, and geo-economics in the region.
So China is the largest investor in Pakistan for the last 4 years. And before this, I think the former Minister of Planning, he always quoted that, when he was in power in 2013, he checked the list of FDI. He found that China was only 13 in the list, but with the CPAC, China quickly, we became the #1 FDI source for Pakistan in the last 4 years.
One way, an integrated South Asia and beyond can prevent mischiefs, provoking tensions, and controversies leading to conflicts that we have been having. So how to come to integration is one very, very important thing that I would like to say first. It would be nice, even the former Chinese ambassador to Pakistan had highlighted, if South Asia remains one unit, it would be easier for China to deal with. Otherwise, China, under the BRI project, should have several corridors. Nepal-China corridor, Nepal-Bangladesh corridor, Nepal-India corridor, Nepal-Pakistan corridor. But if we have a united South Asia, I think it would be much more easier for both sides, China and South Asia, to deal with each other, and better advantages there. So,
usually we see people who are sitting in the political powers often say that borders serve as bridges. This is one of the statements which I noted down from one of the summit meetings of the Heart of Asia. It's a very important one, that borders should serve as bridges. But what do we often get to see? That they are working more as a divider. He talked about the blockade. You just talked about the indirect routes. we can see many inter and intra-regional groupings which have taken place and the arrangements which have come up in the recent years.
This vision can be realized only with a new agenda of connectivity, cooperation and bridge building. And within the South Asian context, of utmost importance is connectivity, cooperation and bridge building between India, Pakistan, China. Friends, in this India-Pakistan-China triangle, one side is very strong, that is Pakistan-China relations. The other side, the second side, India-China relations, is slowly becoming stronger. In the past 4 years, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping have met as many as 14 times, and they will meet twice again this year. This strategic communication is contributing to strategic mutual trust and understanding. Sadly, however, the third side of the triangle, India-Pakistan relations, is very, very weak.
So in general speaking, I think there are major two factors, major two characters of the current global issues. Number one is that uncertainty, both politically and economically. We can observe that unilateralism from the US government and also the trade protectionism against the free trade. So we saw this, and also second is in China, some people in media, in public media, social media, describing about the U.S. behavior nowadays called quitting the friend circle, because quitting the Iran nuclear issues and nuclear deal, quitting even the human rights from the United Nations and also many others. When we talk about, for example, the last few years of increasing bilateral trade between Afghanistan and Iran, that was also one of the reasons for that is that because the Iran nuclear deal. But if U.S. quits and the high uncertainty of the future of Iran nuclear deal, so might be the bilateral trade between Afghanistan and Iran will decrease, which I don't hope so. And also we observe that sometimes we discuss about, for example, the geostrategic gaming. We have the G7 there. I think the very famous pictures in the Twitter we can we observe in the current G7. So also this sort of the trade protectionism also brings some turbulence or disagreements among these developed countries. Because nowadays China is still as one of the developing countries as described by our acting ambassador. So second,
I request Ambassador Aziz Ahmed Khan to present souvenirs to the speakers. Mr. Subindra Kulkarni, Dr. Tangshu, Dr. Khalida Waz. Now I would request Director Tips.
Largely it has to do with some sort of secrecy that is being kept about the project on the national level. So I think that is, it's not more inclusive, it's actually become very exclusive in terms of the decision making and dissemination of information regarding this. Another issue that is a challenge is the Balochistan issue. You can call it discontent or disturbance in Balochistan or insurgency, but that's another issue which is still there. Balochistan has its own concern. People in Balochistan feel or take CPAC as Federation or federal government or Punjab's hegemony over the resources of Balochistan. There has been this long-growing feeling within Balochistan that although Balochistan having a lot of resources, still has not developed that much. The infrastructure is almost next to nothing. And with this project coming, basically we need more influx of non-Baloch into the program. and there are still pending questions about the political rights as well. Would they have, for example, the right to vote from those areas? How would the demarcation of those constituencies look like in about 2 decades' time?
Mr. Ambassador this morning mentioned that there are 5 C's which are relevant to connectivity, which is the policy connectivity, which is the standardization of procedures, which is the connectivity of the people. We see that the process of globalization has assumed irreversible kind of status. Although there are ups and downs, and there are forces which are claiming the ownership of globalization, or the drivers of globalization are different. In the past, it has been the Western powers which have driven this process of globalization, and now it's for the first time something is happening from Asia, and this time
pleasure to be here this afternoon. And I must first of all congratulate Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies to organize this conference. I think it's a very important subject. It has worked on peace in Pakistan, but we know that peace is indivisible. We can't have peace in one country, there are conflicts around it. So I think today's conference will go a long way in enriching our knowledge about establishing regional peace and also developing connectivity and economic cooperation. This region, unfortunately, has been very backward as far as regional cooperation is concerned. SARC could not take off, as we know. We have had other models, but no effective regional cooperation organization has emerged so far in South Asia.
The Senate committee, which I have the honor to chair, 23 senators belonging to all political parties that were represented in the Senate. 23 senators means almost 1/4 of the Senate of Pakistan is represented in this committee. So the discussions were very comprehensive, very incisive. The reports, the committee prepared 5 reports which are available on the Senate websites. These reports were not only unanimously approved by the members of the committee, but they were also adopted by the Senate of Pakistan. Adoption of the report by the Senate of Pakistan means that the recommendations given therein shall be instructions to the government, and the government has to respond within 2 months if there is some problem in implementing those recommendations.
Dr. Fazlur Rahman. Mr. Mr. Taj Heather. Now, I would request Mohammed.
When we talk about, we have heard speakers since morning, and they were all talking about the connectivity and how the connectivity should take place and what is the regional connectivity and where we are actually heading to. So the question now is that what are the barriers to connectivity? That's what we have to discuss. There are many, many barriers, but above all, when I see, and I myself am studying and I'm attending these kind of conferences for years and years, and especially on this regions and connectivity, my point is very clear that the main hurdle, the basic hurdle is the government policies and government's attitude towards regional connectivity. That's what it is. It is basically, I believe that politics has played its role. Otherwise, and when we further narrow down the connectivity and barriers to the connectivity, I simply believe, what is connectivity? Is connectivity with mountain to mountain, earth through earth, air to air, what it is? the connectivity is for the people living in that area, and there's nothing else. That's the population which has to enjoy the fruits of the connectivity. And when we talk about connectivity and further narrow it down, it comes to population, business to business, and economic ties between the.
I'll start with a disclaimer that these are my own views, not associated with my institution or any other thing. The topic which was given to me was barriers in connectivity, and we are talking about South Asia. And particularly in South Asia, of course there are many important countries, but two most important countries, the bigger countries, bigger economies, bigger militaries, the two nuclear powers, China, Pakistan and India are very important. And because of the issues and the relationship they have enjoyed or experienced rather, last 60, 70 years basically forms the issues of connectivity and barriers and rest.
When China and Russia are declared as revisionist states, so what comprises the region? Who are the major countries, main countries? So two of the countries are the main competitors of US. And look at them, that they have declared it as such. What is it that by way of cooperation, US, China and Russia cannot do? If two of them can become cooperative, this world can become a paradise.
The concept of connectivity, what he understands by it, he spoke about three types of connectivities: physical connectivity, institutional and mental connectivity. Then he spoke about his own country, saying that China once was a closed country. So first it opened itself, and the experience was quite educative for them when they embarked upon the path of connectivity outside their country. He spoke about South Asia and mentioned that as compared to China's experience, South Asia might find the connectivity project rather difficult, because South Asian countries have chosen to be democracies. And in democracy, you have to take all the people along. And particularly in these countries, when we see a number of poor people, unless they are brought in the orbit of the connectivity project, the fruits would not be.
I would like to discuss a case study of Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline. And I would argue that this is a case where I think we could put our heads together and look at this pipeline as a confidence building mechanism in South Asia. Most of the debate in South Asia has been dominated by a very narrow security-centric approach, and the conflict between the countries has not let peace and stability come to this region. And thereby I argue in my presentation now that TAPI is the confidence building mechanism which needs to be explored, has been much talked about and remains underutilized, because every year we hear that TAPI is going to be operationalized and it's not happened so. So if you look at the major regional connectivity projects, and here I would like to focus more on TAPI, and then you do have successful projects like the CASA 1000 project in Pakistan and other projects which are working and are on the initial stages of implementation.
Feedback along the way came as a great opportunity. And I think it's a major transition in Pakistani foreign policy that has taken place in recent years, and being generally an optimistic by nature, I think we are on a relatively more progressive course than ever in history of this country. Obviously, regional connectivity leads to relative stability. Now, regional connectivity can be achieved through countries and entering into informal partnerships, bilateral or multilateral, or entering into formal agreements and creating organizations.
Dr. Ishtiaq MS. Lieutenant General Nasir Khan. Now may I please request Mr. Nasir Khan